This next poem, In This Disused Cemetery, started because of the title of a Robert Frost poem, In a Disused Cemetery. I began writing. The title is the only similarity between our poems. My poem is not really influenced by his poem at all. I was actually thinking about an old private cemetery I've passed a few times while I wrote this poem. You can't even see the headstones in that cemetery because of the overgrowth. It's a pretty sad sight. That's what I was thinking about when I was writing this poem. This is In This Disused Cemetery by E.T. Brother. I pass by the cemetery almost on a daily basis. No one has been buried there for many years. The cemetery holds only those who have been long gone, long forgotten, long dead. This is something I can clearly see without stopping or even slowing down. No one has been laid to rest there for many, many years. It's easy to see this because the cemetery by the road is completely overgrown, almost impossible to see anymore, almost impossible to know what it once was. You can barely see the wrought iron fence. Most of the headstones are hidden from view, but the headstones you can see look old. Many are crumbling, falling apart. It's such a sad sight to behold. I'm sure this disused cemetery was once taken care of, but that was long ago. Now it is all but forgotten. I pass this disused cemetery almost every day. I wish I had time to put this sad sight to rights, but alas, I have none. All I can do is pass on by this sad-looking, disused cemetery on my way from here to there, and think for a moment of those who are buried in this disused cemetery as I pass it by. It is such a shame. This disused cemetery has fallen into such a state. It would be so nice if someone with some time would spend some time in this disused cemetery to at least cut down all the overgrowth.
There's a house by the cemetery. There's a house by the railroad tracks. This place I've seen cold. This place I've seen rain. This place I've seen what's left of me. There's a house by the cemetery. There's a house by the railroad tracks. Well, they all far away, far from home I will stay. And your baby ain't never coming back. I take my lips, I open my eyes. What I see is not meant to be. Want you to come before my time. 1 minute you're there, the next you've been replaced by someone else. I'm on my own, afraid of this thing hiding inside of me. So lives and still me around, ashamed of what I found, and I'll get back to reality. There's a house by the cemetery. There's a house by the railroad tracks. This place I've seen cold. This place I've seen rain. This place I've seen what's left of me. There's a house by the cemetery. There's a house by the railroad tracks. When they all far away, far from home I will stay. And your baby ain't never coming back. Making my life better that we can live together. I'm sick of carrying you around. I need something to ease the pain. The pills are in vain, they won't so far, leaving you behind. Somehow you managed to find your way back. Here you light a fever now, and I shall never forget. Standing all alone now, I finally choose to stay, overshadowed by a dream now. One foot in your grave. There's a house by the cemetery. There's a house by the railroad tracks. This place I've seen cold. This place I've seen rain. This place I've seen what's left of me. There's a house by the cemetery. There's a house by the railroad tracks. One day I'll find a way far from home. I will stay. Your baby ain't never coming back. No, your baby ain't never coming back. No, your baby ain't never coming back.
Felt great when the ass back in. You found the loud was scream, I tell what I can. You mobbed off the game, it felt real great. The graveyard swivel, forever celebrate. So bring the chips and brains. You know we want your brains. The clock strikes 12 o'clock. The creeps cut out from under their rock. Exactly what do you fear? Nothing to fear but the feeling you fear. Yeah! What happened in a graveyard bash? Devils all singing, axes all swinging, and in a graveyard bash.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, dust thou art, dust thou shalt return.
Drinking blood is losing with the dead. They find a lava, could you hear what I said? I'm all alone, I'm feeling all so great. You bring the family in, we'll never celebrate. So bring the chips and brains. You know we want your brains. The clock strikes 12 o'clock. The creeps cut out from under
This next poem is called Alone. Even though the title is the same as Edgar Allan Poe's poem, they are not at all similar, and I don't really see any Poe influence in the poem. There might be a little, but I think there's more Lovecraft and King influence in it. I started writing this with no actual ideas, but I did have the title and a few quotes in mind, plus a song title. The title came from a Stephen King quote. Alone. Yes, that's the key word. The most awful word in the English tongue. I like that quote, so I decided to use alone. The quotes that I had in mind when I began writing this were, peek not through a keyhole, lest you be vexed. I couldn't find a definite answer on who said that quote. Some try to say it was Stephen King. He has used it a few times in a few of his books, but I'm pretty sure the saying is pretty old. It's been around much longer than Stephen King. I didn't actually find the answer to who said that quote, so I'll attribute it to Anonymous. I have to say, Anonymous was a very prolific talker. I've seen thousands of quotes by him. Okay, yes, I'm being facetious. I realize Anonymous was not a person. My bad. I was going for a cheap laugh. But hey, a cheap laugh is just as good as an expensive laugh, and it's much cheaper. Oops, I did it again. I'm sure Anonymous came up with that cheap laugh joke. See what I'm talking about? That guy was a very prolific talker. But anyway, moving on. Another quote I had in mind when I started writing this poem was a quote by Friedrich Nietzsche. The quote is, when you gaze into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you. I like that quote. I also had a Wasp song title in mind, Phantoms in the Mirror. So I had a few things in mind as I began writing this poem, even though I didn't have any solid ideas. There were a number of things running around in my mind that ended up in